Hi Scorpio, welcome to your week ahead tarot with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign. Check them out for all three so that you know which part of you I resonate with most as a reader. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So this week, for your key to the week, if you are a continued subby, you know Rafi loves you. And if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose, and this resonates, hit the subscribe button. Your key to the week is the moon. It's a really interesting card to have because it means that a lot of this week is going to be very reflective. A lot of what takes place this week may be happening or taking place within you. And we already know that still waters run deep with Scorpio energy anyway. So there's clearly a lot going on underneath the surface this week. And remember, with the moon card, the past tends to be alive and kicking. So if that is the case, you do need to consider this week, like, what's going on with you, all right? Like, really, this is about examining the past, and it could as well, for some of you, potentially be a bit of a mental, a mentally low dip week. So watch out for that. And if you know, like me personally, I know what my triggers are. I know what my habits are that kind of kick in when I'm like feeling at a low ebb, or and because there's a difference, right? I don't know if anybody else gets that, but like I always know when I'm getting sick, and I always know when it's like that I'm just like at a mentally low ebb, right? So if I'm getting sick, I usually feel it in my body first, and if it's like a mental dip, I usually find that I start to shut off from people. So like I tend to withdraw a bit more, I tend to be a bit more quiet, and truth be told, that's me in general. Like I tend to deal with all of my shit in-house. Like I'll just disappear, deal with whatever fucking impending doom is happening at that moment, and then I'll emerge again like, hi, I'm okay now. And for the most part, my people are they're really good at kind of either letting me get on with it or pulling me out of it when needs be. All right, so for your actions and options this week, you got the Three of Wands. So for a lot of you, this could literally be an actual trip down memory lane. That's one way that this could show up. But for a lot of you, this may be that you are reconsidering an old business idea. Whether this is an old entrepreneurial idea, an old business idea, something that you've done in the past, you are giving more thought to, you're giving more credence to, and maybe you're looking over this to say, okay, I did this before. Here's how it went. This is what was good about it. This is what was not good about it. What would I or could I do differently? I actually really love this because it could be very lucrative for you moving forward. For a lot of you, it looks like you're really taking stock of the last, I want to say like 2 to 3, so this card is actually days. But it doesn't feel like days. I actually feel like this is a process that probably began for you around, probably, like late March. Like, I feel like at that point you started to get really reflective of the last sort of couple of years, maybe even last 2-3 years. And now you're kind of thinking about where you go from here. For a lot of you, I actually feel like this is you gearing up to make some sort of launch pad move, but you're kind of gathering your wings or your information to you first. For your communications and conversations, you've got the Four of Cups. Okay. So there's a little bit of a funk going on here, right? Now we talked about this with the moon card, but now that I see this, it's your work, your career and your profession potentially that some of you are having not problems with, but you're looking at it and starting to think, okay, am I really happy with where things are at the moment? There's an inward look and a past looking sort of to kind of figure out where you are almost. For those of you that are, come on brain. No, it's gone. Yeah, for those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, the Four of Cups with the Three of Wands does suggest that you are starting to look elsewhere. Maybe you are disillusioned with the course, maybe it's the teachers, the lecturers, etc. It could also be that the subject is not what you thought it was. There's a lot of deep reflection going on around your studies this week, and quite frankly, I feel like a lot of you are asking that really tough decision of, am I actually going to go back when the new year or the new term starts? I think, if I'm completely honest with you, based on just these cards for now, I don't think a lot of you will. And I think that's because there is something else coming in that you are aware is kind of on the periphery, but you don't know what it is yet. All right, so it's going to take probably about a month for that to develop. So stick with it. Now, for those of you that are employed by somebody else, this could be, honestly, I feel like this is a lot of you looking at the situation with work and saying, you know what, I'm now starting to get pissed off with being constantly passed over. And if that is the case, you've got to find a way to speak up. For those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work for themselves, there is a chance here that a lot of you are thinking about bringing something back into your business that you have previously done, that's previously been a part of your world, etc. When it comes to those of you that are retired and no longer working, your Four of Cups, especially with the Three of Wands, right? Like, this is you taking stock of your experience as a whole and asking yourself, like, how can this still be relevant, or what can I do with it? It is just a very deeply reflective week. And I have to say, Midnight Rules, if you've seen the film Constantine, then you definitely need to. There's a scene in that film where he's in the chair. They call it the chair, and he has to get pulled out of the chair. Right. This is one of those weeks. If you feel yourself dipping or going over too much in your mind, reach out to your people, right? Don't just be stuck in that space internally. For your love and relations, you've got the Two of Pentacles. If you are partnered, married, or in a long-term commitment, this is potentially a conversation that comes up around money, finances, and resources that just keeps coming up, right? It's like you guys can't really get past it. And I think part of the reason that you can't get past this conversation is because you never have the conversation. It looks like it comes up, things get intense for a while, maybe you fall into bed, to kind of make up and all the rest of it, but you never actually reach a resolution. Well, this week you are being invited to do so, right? You got to find the end point of that conversation, even if it's hard, even if it's difficult, even if it's challenging or uncomfortable. Now, for those of you that are single, slightly different energy. Pay attention to who shows up this week, especially people that you have either met before or people that are in your circle but you've never actually spoken to, right? There's somebody on the periphery who maybe you've seen in passing, all of that kind of stuff, but you haven't really connected with them beyond like a pleasantry, right? I gotta be honest, this person's just coming into your world, right? It's only really now that you're going to start to notice them. You probably won't actually connect with them until the very end of this year, just before Christmas. So I am very intrigued by this. For your money and materials, you've got the Nine of Cups. Listen, if nothing else goes right this week, at least you got your money, honey. Look, you got the Nine of Cups with the Moon card. That's beautiful because it's a really profound sense of peace around money, finances, and resources. And I think this is because something is revealed to you this week, whether this is internally or externally. For some of you, this might be a gift that is given to you. And it's not even so much about the gift, whether it's substantial or whatever the case might be. It could literally just be like a 5 pence piece, but it's like whatever is given to you, it really helps you know deep down on a soul level that financially you are going to be more than okay for the future. So I love this for you. I think it actually puts you in a really good space. Also, manifesting came on point. You better get this. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, this with the Moon card, the waters of your body, especially for those of you that have had problems or imbalances on a hormonal level. Obviously, I'm not a doctor. I can't give you medical advice. This is not a diagnosis in any way, shape or form. But if you've had hormonal imbalances, If you've had problems with your literal balance, as in you've been a bit unsteady on your feet, this week you could find a profound sense of healing, which is really, really great, especially if you go back to something that's like considered an old form of medicine, or, you know, like Ayurveda, homeopathy, herbalism, you know, like all of those kinds of things. And then finally, when it comes to your home and environment, there's a rift healed this week. The picture that I'm seeing in my mind is like, you know, when a bone is put back together and there's like a little fragment that needs to go in to really seal the whole thing. This feels kind of like that. There's going to be an instant rightness that comes over the home, but it is going to come through a very deep conversation with somebody that you live with. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.